Why everyone is single now. Hello, my name is Chris Lapadoulos at Thanastasiopoulos, tech support. I got them coming out for that. They're going to close that thing up. Today I'm going to be responding to and doing another read through of my guide, how to happily quit alcohol. And we're gonna listen. This the reason I'm inspired to do this is because this channel Raymond's thoughts in mind with Raymond. This guy Raymond, which he was just recently sober. He's like a couple years sober. He claims. I think I believe him because he's pretty annoyed. He's the correct level of annoyed, and he says he was pickled every night for 12 years. So he's what 35 now, and he I guess he's just, you get so what happens when you drink is you freeze at that emotional level. So he's really like a 22-year-old because of how much drinking he did and how hardcore he was about it. And he's also in the red pill rage, so he's like coming out of that stupor and realizing that the social structure had collapsed around him, and he's really salty about it. So I'm gonna listen to a little bit about where he's coming from and his vibe, and then I'm gonna give a suggestion that actually worked for me because I'm in I had a similar circumstances. I had two divorces and was still drinking, and I had a couple DWIs, and I couldn't get another one. I was like go to prison just like him. He did two of those. So that's appreciate knowing that. So I had a strong, compelling reason that overrid my awkwardness and embarrassment of trying something new that to solve the social problems I was still having because I didn't really know how to meet people, and because a lot of the social structures that I grew up with had collapsed, and I'd been married for a long time and totally had lived a completely different life, sober, and wasn't raising kids and stuff, and then thrown into back into the world of dating and just going, okay, what the hell, and doing all the default things. So let's do what Raymond has to say.
I am decidedly the subject matter expert in this field. I have been single since 2011, but really 2010. My last actual relationship, that being one in which a woman voluntarily called herself my girlfriend and actually wanted to spend time with me. We attempted living together. Basically, the relationship devolved last year of college, and then basically she found other people to sleep with. So it was by de facto over because I wasn't going to tolerate that situation. Since then, there have been
That's kind of not. I found out it's pretty normal.
a handful, and I mean a handful of trysts, one night stands, all in my early 20s, some in New York City, but really not a lot. Not a pleasant dating experience, to be honest. The last real actual date I went on was in 2016, I think. It was right back when I moved back to Ohio. And it was with a former high school friend who got married right out of high school. And then she was basically, this was 10 years after high school. And she had been divorced. And I later found out she was basically meeting up with all the guys she had crushes on during high school.
Pretty normal. That's pretty normal, man.
And I was in the worst shape of my life. I weighed 80 pounds heavier than I weigh now. I was actually unemployed. I was back crashing with my parents for a couple months. Like, but definitionally, I had nothing going for me. And she just
good chicks don't care about all that stuff.
chose to have a tryst with me for a couple days, and that was that. And I ended that because, again, I found out she wanted to be with more people than one person at a time.
That's pretty normal these days.
So I'm not going to participate in that kind of lifestyle.
Okay.
So my standards being what they are, I have been single, and there have been no one interested basically since I started shaving my head.
I mean, this seems like a lot of cope, but I mean, this whole thing's cope. Actually, it's coping hard on excusing all the things, trying to find reasons and then bolstering those reasons, and then being very black and white about the reason choices is that you've discovered what they are, even though they may be a contributing factor. Baldness isn't the whole. I mean, I intentionally make my scalp bald.
All of that to say,
I don't think that's it, man. I think you might be grasping, but I get it though. I mean, it's not wrong, but it's not the thing because I know lots of bald guys that don't. That's not an issue. So it's something else. Let's keep going.
Preamble to this article. It seems like, some people have been mentioning this. Aaron Clary talked about this recently in a video where basically conventional employment and conventional marriage, conventional relationships are basically an archaic thing of the past.
Yeah, they kind of always were. They kind of always were. It was always kind of like as soon as like the no fault divorce stuff happened and the pill happened, that was when the marriage, the whole reason for that being such a harsh contract is dissolved. So that's why as soon as the pill came on, the no fault divorces kind of made sense at that time because it was super like a throwback to when if because the birth control wasn't around, if you're having sex with somebody, you should marry her because there was lots of guys that didn't do that, and then, it was more for the protection of the woman because if you get pregnant as a woman, what are you gonna do? It was really well for being a single mom. No, it was super not friendly. So people would give it up for adoption. It was super embarrassing. So there's all this social structure around you have to get married. If you are having sex with a girl, you have to get married because and you know if you're because the thing is if you're having sex, it was eventually you're gonna get the girl pregnant. And if it's possible to get her pregnant, she's gonna pray. So there was a whole society around that. But when we get the pill got allowed, because there was always birth control before that, but the pill form and the times of everything being scientificized and this wave of cultural wave coming through, and then the no fault divorce. That's when the agreement broke down completely. So now it's like more of like a it's for people that are very marriage is for people that are very religious and they already have another so basically a social structure that supports that. Or if you're secular and trying to get married, it's like, oh, why are you doing that? That doesn't make any sense. But I understand Ray wants to go back to the visions that he had, which he's still 22, so he's still just getting to be an adult and understanding the adult world because you're emotionally this adult world when you can tell as an adult who's taking it seriously. You can also tell when another adult wants to take it seriously, and most adults just aren't that serious right now, especially if you've been drinking or you've been cutting off that emotional supply, your emotional growth by stunting it, blunting it. First of all, it's going to take a while for that sensitivity to come back and not have this black and white. That's just the way it is. Like that thinking has to like ease up a little bit around these things. And I'm not trying to cope so hard like being right as opposed to like there might be something else here that you're not aware of. Let's keep going.
The young women have made it clear they don't want anything to do with traditional relationships.
Well, with the deal, I mean, if they can make their own money, they've been convinced into it. They don't find out that it's a lonely road just making your own money, and they don't want to share. It's not really a share. Men are the sharers. Women aren't the share type. They want to. It's what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine. That's their thing. So they think the materialism is gonna help, but that's just how they're programmed, man. That's just how we're built as the default setting, right? Unless you can give them something better. Can you? And then what is that? Okay, we're gonna get into it.
Let alone marriage. I'm not bemoaning that fact. I'm not being.
Yeah, you are. You are very much bemoaning that fact. What are you talking about, dude? That's what your channel's dedicated to. The marriage thing, the contract died. It died before you were born, man. I know it's hard to take. This is hard to take, but the societal structures kept going along like it was real because for some people it is real, like the very religious and maybe the very hyper rich, and also people that want to live in a fantasy world of that, and also the wedding industry and divorce industry push, but all of that. So we're also being psyop massively. So it's not just. It's not. There's like a lot of there's a lot of fucking around with this society been going on the last 50 years or so, our entire lives. And it's like, yeah, that picture perfect lifestyle. I don't know if it ever did exist. It was more like it was more of a facade to keep it up, to just to have a pleasant society, but underneath it was never really 100%. People were more like, this is how things are. Everyone's got the same thing, so we might as well make the best of it. So there was definitely that attitude there. But then we had started the comparison contest, and then the no fault divorce and the divorce Olympics. I mean, the fact that anybody even talks about marriage anymore is just like, what are you guys referring to? Like, it's just a bad deal for the guy. He just gets taken to the cleaners, and she has a fun, expensive day where she's the queen. Like, okay, but other than that, I mean, why are you even messing with it? It's goofy.
I'm not being sorrowful. I'm not being depressed about it.
Yeah, you are.
You
definitely are.
To be the trend in which we are going, where women are choosing to stay single, hook up with a guy if he's hot enough or meets her standards for pleasure.
That's the minimum. That's the default. Isn't that what you would do? Like, he doesn't like his like the self and reflection thing hasn't hit him yet. Even though he's an artist and he's been a writer and stuff, it's like if you had a rack of tits and you were in your 20s, you had the lottery ticket, and people are saying, "Go, girl, you bet," and you just could open your legs or just hint at it, and you have women falling over themselves. You would do the same thing. Come on, this is incentives. Come on now.
Woman But otherwise, they have the state that funds their lifestyle, and even the ones that pay their own way.
I mean, that's part of it too. We all voted for this stuff, which is probably not going to last much longer. Let's be real honest. So that's when things might change. When you like flip back to maybe a fault divorce type of situation, or limit birth control to like moms only, or something like that. I don't know, or make a penalty for doing abortion. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. So this is what we got to deal with. These are the cards we're dealt, and he's complaining like, darn it, yeah, lifestyle, blah blah blah. The government gives them a handout. Yeah, that does. How is that your problem?
For everything, they are wanting to stay single, but it seems to be
because given the default guy, which you are one of them, with your default mindset, you're gonna have a lot of issues, dude. Yeah, because chicks don't want the default. If they want the default, they're gonna maximize on the material. Which, if that's all you have to offer, then that's what they're gonna take from you. Like, the ones that since you're not offering anything else, you're not seeing the other ones or show up for the other thing that you have in abundance, but you don't want to give it because you're stingy. But I'll get into what it is.
Part of the zeitgeist now that single is here to stay. And as Yahoo Life says here,
I mean, as a default, it's better to stay single. Is it being abused? Being abused or being some abusive relationship, or just get whatever they want and they don't have to have strings attached, and they don't figure it out until later. It's like, oh wait, strings attached might be a good thing. But that's by that time it's too late, and they've all been sucked dry by the society. They're also being used too, by the way, by this thing, by staying single. It's not just a one-sided thing. It's not just you and me that are getting abused by these things. So they're getting used too.
They have this company called Bold. I don't know what Bold is, but it looks like a sponsored link. Oh, a woman's dating and relationship website. Okay, so it's a republished article by Natasha Lee. 13 surprising reasons more people are choosing to stay single than ever before. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into reader's view. So let's find out from the horse's mouth, and I'm saying that on purpose. No, women are not horses, obviously. But you can, like a woman and a horse, you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink.
What does that mean?
God.
What does that mean? Just because you talk to a girl, you expect her to fuck you or something? What is that? Is that what you're trying to say? What are you trying to say? What does that mean?
And so, 13 surprising reasons. Let's find out what Lucky 13 is. Marriage rates are dropping. Yeah, they're falling flatline off a cliff. Women, they've been convinced, I say it all the time, they've been convinced since they were young that the worst thing that could happen to them is to become a wife and a mother. And actually, in reverse order.
Right, they've been psyoped by the union, and all the institutions that psyoped them. You should feel sad for them. They've been psyoped. They had it good, man. Before they had to do this, before they had to go get a job, before they had to put the kids up there, so they could raise their own kids in their own house with their own friends that they get to associate with. They had it pretty good. So it was a lot of psyops, man. So it's not all their fault, man. There's a lot of psyops going on.
They would rather become a single mother. They literally would rather have a hot guy.
Cheered on. The government cheers it on because it's another way to be tied in with a voting block. Okay, it's just the time that we're in period right now. They're the political aristocratic class, because there's not enough positions for them to hold, have now fighting against each other, and they're the same thing they did in World War I. They took all the farmers and gave them guns, and so instead of this one, they just gave all the single moms talking points to stay in their position and vote for Democrats, and then the other side just are also part of that same thing. So it's just more government control stuff. It's not going to work, but they got it. They've been trying this for years, and they don't have a way out, and they don't want to share power, so they got to fight. So that's another big thing that's happening right now.
Kid, hot definitionally by whatever metric they have. They voluntarily choose to be single mothers. Look at Ashley St. Clair, single mother by two different people, chasing specifically men of influence and power to have their offspring, with the intention of having that be a single mother situation.
Yeah, that's allowed now. It's celebrated. Why wouldn't she? Wouldn't you? I mean, okay. Can you see why wouldn't she? It's allowed. It's celebrated. And people love her. Like, these guys are getting involved. They don't care. Well, I mean, come on. Why are you mad about this? I get it, because you're touch starved. I get it.
That is all encompassing of the child welfare state and all this other stuff, and men, divorce raping, all that. Yes, obviously. When I say those statements, I understand that the scaffolding behind those statements is informed by the absolute one-sided socioeconomic equation that is having a kid with a woman who can just leave you for no reason. I understand that fact. You don't need to tell me.
Yeah, so it's okay. You can leave her for no reason too, by the way. I mean, goes both ways. Come on now.
How horrible life is and how wonderful it is for me never to get laid. I get it. Marriage rates are dropping, and it's not
See, that's this incel thing. You do this. You self-labeled yourself that, by the way. You've called yourself that many times. Involuntary celibate, and then man, let's keep
random.
going.
These surprising factors explain why. More and more people are opting out of traditional relationships, and it's not just a passing trend. It's a multi-decade psyop that they've been running on us since the 60s.
Okay, then you know. Why are you mad?
The idea of settling down isn't as universally appealing as it once was. No, no one wants to. It's completely out. It's not
Well, what's a good deal for them? Come on now.
even an option anymore. And women have made that choice. And I'm not being
No, men made the choice too by allowing this to happen. Let's be real clear about that. Don't just blame the women. Don't cope on that. We did this to ourselves. Come on now. We're being all fair. Everything's fair. But what about the kids? What about the children who have to grow up in a society where these people, everybody hates themselves, they're all atomized? That's the part that's a problem, big problem. What kind of society are we gonna have when they're all atomized? Kids hate each other, and their parents hate each other.
Again, I'm not being negative or judgmental. I'm saying those are the facts on the ground. Women have made that choice. It's time for men to choose accordingly. And most of us just need to go buy a nice house somewhere that's small, live a nice, quiet life, and just visit Rosie Palm.
Is that what you're gonna do, buddy? Is that the see? This is the black. This is the black pill, drying out drunk brain who. It's not easy like he thought it was gonna be. It never was that. That was only a temporary thing anyway. And it was gone. It was gone by the time you hit puberty. It was completely gone. He's like, what happened to it? And I was like, and then the only alternative is, I'm gonna take my bomb back and go. Look, man, here it is. I'm gonna get into this document. Let's go ahead and do this document. Okay, look. So I've got a little video of the previous version of this talk, which I'm going to do right now. Another pass at it. This is version 3. So how to happily and permanently quit alcohol. Meet unlimited women or people, men, anybody you want, for whatever reason, friendship, whatever, sober. Anywhere you go, anywhere you bring your butt around, anywhere you bring your hands around, to permanently quit, to go forever. Anywhere you go, traveling. So it's like he's like, I don't want to travel. It's like if you have this skill. You go traveling around to festivals or events or whatever, or just set your chair up in front of places. Oh man, you're making friends, no problem, and just not be a dick. Because it's usually see people smiling at you after meeting them, and you're just doing this work with them. Then yes, you're gonna make friends. This is the easiest way to stop drinking. Become as social as you want. Meet lots of new sober people anywhere you go for the rest of your life. You have to forget NA and AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and Narcotics Anonymous. Those are Kafka traps. You don't know what a Kafka trap is. Go look it up. They keep you stuck in their sickness. So you get stuck in the sickness around sick people who are mentally ill. I did have both these programs. I like NA better, but honestly, it's all the same shit. And looks like it'd be a grift as well. So, okay, you'll drive yourself mad by trying to solve a problem you've misdiagnosed. Okay, so that's one of his quotes he put on his page. So I put a Raymond quote there. The sacrifice required. This technique requires you to change internally in ways that you may not find comfortable at first. But if you allow your ego, your freaking huge ego, that I know everything. It's like, yeah, you are. You know a lot of stuff. That's why, like, maybe potentially you might be able to crack through and see this other reality, which is right in front of you, side by side. But because you're so angry, you won't let go. All right, I get that. I definitely been through what you're talking about, so I know what this feels like, and that's why I'm gonna tell you how I got through it. All right. The results will give you inevitable success with your social problems and most likely make your life fun again, which is true. This is what happened to me. Okay, this technique requires some time, about 20 to 40 hours of research and learning. It takes some effort, it takes some training. Most of the learning resources are free or low cost and can be done at home in private, so don't embarrass yourself at first. You might be getting some body work done on yourself with massages. I recommend about $500. Oh, because honestly, this guy Ray and most people are touch starved. I definitely was touch starved when I was going through the time when I had to stop drinking, and I had to come back, and because of the DWIs, I had to find out how to be social and keep myself busy and not go insane. And I just got a lot of body work done because that was the only thing that made me feel better about life and not angry with those divorces and all that crazy shit that happened with those ladies, right? So there's the only thing that made me feel better. And I think this is the problem that you have too, because you keep complaining about it all the time, Raymond, and whoever's watching this. And some cheap used equipment, and most of all, reducing your ego, your freaking huge ego, which you got lucky with your channel, and you're taking for granted like you did. You got lucky, man. And it's because there's a lot of people out here who have the same problem as you, suffering as you, and you definitely speak their language and know the experience. So there's no doubt about that. But you call yourself an incel, there's no way out, and that women only want money and fame and six packs. That's that red pill lie shit. All right, I'm gonna get into that. And some cheap user equipment, most of all, reducing your ego to accept something unusual and new to you that's outside the normal. Now, this is a very old shit I'm gonna be talking about. It does not require you have a full head of hair, nor good. I'm bald. It's like, dude, I'm bald. I did all this work bald. All right, I actually had a mohawk for a while, then I did it all bald because I was like, nobody cares. Okay, no six pack abs. I had a gut at the time. Um, nor 6 feet tall, nor pretty teeth, nor fancy job. You don't need money. No fancy car, no fancy house, no location. Nobody cares. Nor fancy title. This technique I'm sharing with you right now skips all that shit. It does require an abrupt and major change of attitude about humans, your other people you're on the planet with, which you included, human bodies, and willingness to try something completely different and rather unusual, probably for you, because you're like, blue collar worker, I work tech, I'm a tech job, office worker. It's like, well, this is different. We're gonna skip. What I'm doing is I'm skipping all that baloney that's all on the YouTube and the black pill and white pill, blah blah blah. Like, dude, forget all that shit. Really, I understand, I get it, I know all that stuff. The diagnosis is correct, but the cure, the prognosis, what they recommend you do now, all that stuff's fucking bad. It's stupid. Make a 6-pack figure, go to the gym 100 times a day. No, it does. Okay. It definitely a little awkward. This feeling is temporary, normal at the beginning. Yeah, it's gonna feel weird at first. If when I started getting into this, it was like, what is this? Like, but everybody, like, I got immediately positive reactions. I was like, okay, maybe this is a solution. And I was not told any of this. I discovered this on my own by myself. The solution is extremely different from any mainstream red pill solutions that you may have heard of. As far as I know, I'm the progenitor of this technique. I gotta say this. I'm the progenitor of this technique to quit drinking. I've never and meet people and unlimited, sober, in public, anywhere people gather, without having to do all the red pill. I'm an alpha male. I'm gonna mog them. It's like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Okay, as far as I know, I have never heard this technique from anyone. I've asked hundreds of people about this, and like they all say no. I've never heard anybody try to quit drinking and meet people just using this technique. Okay, it works so great. I don't really understand why it's not well known. I don't understand, but this is how we are. This is how it is in 2025. I only know of one other person who did something similar, and this guy was into acro yoga, which is also really fun and a great way to meet women and men and anybody else. It's a great way to make friends sober in doing something that's physical and fun and silly and goofy and also athletic and precise and skilled up and extremely social. All right, okay. So even my Thai bodywork teacher, who never heard any of his students in over 16 years ever mention the fact that they're doing this technique to stop drinking and to make friends and to be social and to regain their faith in humanity. Therefore, I claim I am the first to discover this technique to quit drinking and remain exceedingly social. Okay, I had to say that. Okay, the journey to become an independent bodywork minister. So basically, the idea is you are going to be laying on of hands. And the first step is to get 10 chair massages from 10 different people over a period of 2 weeks. That's like one a day. And you can try 2 a day for a while if you want to speed this up. And then after each one, you take notes on what you like and didn't like after each session. Just take notes, think through what happened, and then think to yourself, do you feel you can do a better job? As good or better? Okay, that's the first question. So there's a series of gates that you have to go through for this techniques. And these are self-selecting because it's like, I already know this shit works. It's whether you think it works. And I don't know, I might do a class or session. I don't know. I don't think maybe it's necessary. See, I did this for 10 years. I've already done this. I've already done, and then I stopped because I'm doing something else. But I still have the skill. I still have a lot of the skill. And I did it professionally for a while too. All I did was this for 4 generations. It was a really amazing time. And then, okay, but things change. Your desires and needs change. So let's keep going. But this works. I've trained people. I've shown people. It's this, and I came completely sober, and it was fun. All right. So get a cheap massage chair and learn the Nayada Institute techniques online. So the Nayada Institute is this guy right here. He's a massage nerd, and this is the Nayada Institute. It's just this chair massage technique, and it's very specific, and it's thumb saver. So there's no thumbs. We're not using any thumbs. All this work is done clothes on, in public, with regular clothes. The more you can be artistic about it if you want, but just the more normal, regular old you look, the better. And this guy is a genius. Like, so he's integrating Thai and kind of standard default chair massage techniques, but he's the best. And so he's got this DVD series which I bought and used and learned about. And he also has this little sheet, this free PDF here that goes over the basics. This will do like 12 minutes. If you just did this, you would have it. You would have a good, nice routine, and you don't have to go into much more of that. And he's also got this workbook here. There's no links. I'll leave. I mean, I don't get any paid for this stuff. I just know this stuff works. And this is the guy I found that made it so the no thumbs. So I was like, how can I do it with no thumbs? And he was the one that popped up on the Google search, and I bought the videos and started doing it. I was like, okay, I don't need to go to the schools. The schools are silly. I've gone to all, but I have gone and worked with people in those schools. You don't have to go to school for this. It's not important, but you do have to learn, and you do have to train, and you should do it yourself. And the way you get your $6 chair, and off Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, and I paid for it within the first eight sessions going out and using it. And the way I practiced it was, okay. So I got here it is, the thumb saver. So I just went over this. There are other Thai chair teachers out there, and you can look them up on YouTube. And if you just do that, you don't have to buy any of this materials. Just study what they're doing, and then get a chair, and then practice. Put some pillows there, and then find some people to help you out with, or your friends and family. I know that people don't have a lot of friends, but if you do it on your family, or just do it with pillows and go through it and learn how to do it, and then if you don't have anybody you want to do it on, you just do it on pillows, and then I'll give you a technique on how to practice on somebody who will give you good feedback. Okay. All this body work is done in public with clothes on. That's a really important thing about this, is you're doing this all in public with clothes on, okay? And then you want to learn the basics enough to work for 15 minutes. And that's usually all people want anyway, at first. Okay, then you want to become an ordained minister. So if you've got the chair, you've got the instructions, you're learning this stuff, and then you want to become an ordained minister. You can still work on your friends and family and what stuff, but I really recommend you, before you work on strangers, people that don't know, or I think you should do this first. It's just become an ordained minister. It's free. And I'm not going to tell you which one to go to, but you can go find them. There's a whole bunch of them. This is sort of a psychological thing for you to know that the thing you're now doing is a holy mission. I know, I got you. I got you hooked into this now. This is a holy mission. This is some mystical, magical shit. Then do not be creepy about it, which I will get into. You get creepy about this shit. If you treat this wrong, you are in big trouble. Okay, so become an ordained minister, right? And you can look into where they do that. And here's a quote: "Whoever believes in me," Jesus saying this, "will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these." Okay? So this is the laying on of hands. The practice of laying on of hands is considered one of the 6 fundamental principles of the doctrine of Christ. I am not a Christian. Be clear. I am not a Christian. I'm in this other thing. It's Christian adjacent, but it's not Mormon or anything. It's probably nothing you've heard of. It's called, I'm a student of what's known as the Law of One, raw teachings. If you want to look into that, you can. But I'm not a Christian, but I'm adjacent. I'm right there next to you. So similar moral framework, but a different style. All right, I can get into it later if you want. I also have a video on this channel about it if you want to look into it. It's new age stuff. It's sort of. It's not really. I don't know. It's something. It's bizarre. It's like its own category. It's very. Anyway, I'm a student of that. That's where I'm coming from. All right. So the practice, but for you as a Christian, and most people are Christian. I was raised in a Christian environment, so the stuff vibes being. Okay, so it's listed in Hebrews 6. Okay, laying on of hands, I believe, is real, actual magic. I've seen it help many, many people who are sad and having a really hard time. We're not sad and we're not having as hard a time after whatever was happening between me and them, thing flowing through. I don't get it, but it definitely feels this way. It's like it comes through when you have the correct intention that you're there as a messenger and as a agent of the universe and Christ Jesus making this world a little nicer place to be in and more human. Okay, so I witnessed miracles definitely performed through me. I'm not doing them; they're just gonna have. I'm just like kind of. It's like I'm watching them occur. I don't know, man. I don't fully understand it. I'm not supposed to. They told me don't. From what they tell me is like don't try and understand it. Just enjoy it and realize it's a thing, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful, and it's sacred, and it should be not trifled with. Okay, and it should be taken seriously. This is a serious mission. If you take this on, it's a serious mission. There are repercussions if you abuse it. All right. So I don't want to mention more about what I've seen, but I've definitely seen stuff. Okay, and you will, if you have the right attitude and the right intention, things will occur that you cannot predict. Okay, practice on families and friends. So that's why I recommend is you practice on your family and friends in public with them, with everybody around, so you get used to people looking and watching. It's actually pretty fun. Then you try your skills out and you get feedback and they like it or not like it, and they're not the last arbiters, but that's a good place to start. So act out the movements as you watch the videos and get more chair massages. So here's the secret. It's like, oh, I want to work on my family friends. Okay, then don't. What you can do is when you're going out and talking to these chair massage people, you tell them you're thinking of getting a massage license. And even if you aren't, it explains your interest, which disarms them. You can ask the massage chair people if you can practice on them. Yeah, this is a secret loop. And so this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's like when you see beyond the what you've been told and programmed and what the red pill and all these people, these pundits say how the solutions are, what the problems are. When you can break free from that, there's other worlds right there in front of you. Probably you've walked by these things 1,000 times and didn't realize, like, hey, this is a way for you to connect to people in a very direct, visceral way, in a very abundant way that allows you to connect with them on a human level. They're not going to see you as a check or a six pack or some kind of the hair. They don't care. Come on now. Let's see. Okay, so you tell them you're thinking about getting a massage. Someone will agree to do this because it's rare to be asked. I only had to ask a couple people, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do a trade," because they're usually sore themselves, and they never. It's very actually rare. And the thing is that if you're into it, you've already done the practicing, you've been paying attention, and doing through the lessons and going, going through and studying these things and how they're done and watching the videos and looking at other people and then trying out the techniques, even if you're just faking it. You fake it. It's called fake it till you make it. It's just, and it also, so they often will give you feedback, where it's usually they'll just enjoy your work and they'll just be like, okay, you like that, or they'll give you some little critiques here and there, but usually not. They usually be like, oh my god, that's amazing. Okay, this is also a way to set up trades with these people, so you can go back and forth and they critique each other and make sure you give them plenty more than they give you. Don't look at the number of minutes and try and chintz out on that. It's like, oh, 50. No, just be very generous. All right. And this is okay. So they critique your works and become friends. I became friends with a lot of these LMTs, licensed massage therapists. I'm not saying to become one, but you make friends with them. Okay. I traded with many LMTs after I practiced and learned the basics. They all told me I was good or better than other LMTs. So this is also how they train. So when they go to massage school, they teach each other. So they might have the instructor show them or change them, but they're always working in pairs off each other. So they're actually very accustomed to this and familiar with it. And it's comfortable. And if you showed interest and you're being professional, you're not being a creep and not being a weirdo, and you're actually trying to do these. And like if you have a special, like I like to specialize in the hands because, man, so I'll get into the reason why, but it's like that's one of the places where you can really relieve a lot of tension with people really relatively quickly with their hands. I love the hand stuff. So when you if you can like start off with that, like start off with their hands and let them know that you are real and are serious about this art form and this technique, and you have it in your heart that you are doing this to stay sober and to connect with other people on a human to human level, with no pretenses, and you're doing something for them and selflessly, even though it's not really selfless because you're making friends, you're becoming a positive impact in the world, a pleasant, gentle, social, civil, kind. You're spending your time, your life energy on this purpose. So it's like there's all this stuff. You have that mindset, they will feel it. They're not going to understand it. You never don't talk about it. I mean, you can eventually, I guess. Whatever, you can do whatever you want, but don't tell them you're doing that. Just think it while you're doing the work. Woo! All right, okay. So where do you find the patrons, the people to work on, your customers, whatever? I don't really the word customer because they're more patrons because you're doing this on donation. You're an ordained minister and you're doing laying on of hands. You're doing laying on of bodywork hands, and you can find these people at the farmers markets, 5K meetups, at the start and finish line festivals, music events, street festivals, busy public street. I've set up just random places where I just thought people were passing by, and I would just stand by there, and I would start asking people if they wanted to work. And people did. Anywhere people gather in public parks is a really nice place to do it. Trailheads, you can, and as long as you don't have any signs out and have prices on them, you can do your work as for donation. Okay. Always tell people you're working for donations, and they can pick the price. If they ask for a quote them like $1 to $2 a minute, or whatever you want. That's up to you. Ask them how long you want, and then immediately ask them how long you want to work. And most people say 15 to 20 minutes, right? Remember the reason you're doing this, and don't worry about the money part of it. Okay. You will eventually, if you get good at this, you will have to be booked up. And you won't have to worry about money about this part stuff, and you can make as much or as little as you want. And if you graduate from these techniques into other techniques, you can do even more. Okay. In the beginning, when I was still learning, I just told people I'm working for the universe because I'm kooky. Remember, I'm not. I'm a little. Okay, but I'm also very blessed and grateful that the universe gave me this gift and let me know and showed me this way, and I'm now actually glad to be able to share it with you and the people who are capable of handling these kind of energies. Because if you try and do it in a creepy way, you're gonna get fucked over bad. The universe is gonna take you out. So you have to be pure with this stuff. All right, I'll get into more about what I mean by that. Okay, so I work on it for 10-15 minutes. I learn a tremendous amount about people just doing this. Most people paid me anyway, even when I didn't ask. Some people had never had chair body work before and were amazed how it felt. They didn't realize that you could do it with your clothes on, and it felt almost the same or better, depending on the techniques you're using, than the naked stuff, right? Everyone always thanked me. They're always happy. They always thank me. Having direct feedback on your work is immensely satisfying in a way that I cannot fully subscribe. Because I've heard Raymond and other people talk about they never hear. Nobody smiles at them. Nobody thanks them. Nobody appreciates their efforts. Like, okay, well, here you go. Just learn these techniques. Not rocket science. It's only going to take you 20 to 40 hours, and you're getting the work done the whole time, and it's super fun. And you're making friends, and you're getting out of your comfort zone, and you're breaking out of this black and white cope rebel red pill incel like that. Dump that flush. Yes, it's all real, it's all correct, and it's dumb and stupid and can be pushed aside for this other thing that's available for anybody that has the capability and understanding of what this actually is. Okay, how to start. So it's ridiculously easy to start. You bring your chair, you set everything out, you dress appropriately, and you have all your cleaning and all your supplies and everything there, your little bells and rings and all the little things you want to put there, the scents and odors and all the things to make it yours. Okay, you just set all the stuff up and you just stay in the area. And as people walk by, you say, "I need to do a demo to attract patrons." You say, "Hey, I need to do a demo. It's only for 7 minutes." And they see the chair there, and they go, "What do you do?" "I do a little bit of back massage, a little bit, or not use the word massage. I just screwed up there. I do a little bit of body work and hands-on healing, and it's all for donation, right?" And you can tell that people say, "Okay," or they say no. And then if they say no, they usually are walking on, and they just ask the next person. Usually only takes about 3 or 4 times before you get a demo. And if you have somebody on your chair and you're working with them, usually there'll be other people who will be walking by, seeing what you're doing, and they will say they're going to come back later, or they'll sit there and wait because you say, "I'm only going to be 2 or 3 minutes, or 5 minutes, or 7 minutes," and they'll have a line, and that is super fun. How is this legal? As an ordained minister, you have the lawful First Amendment protected right to practice your religion, which includes laying on of hands, just as Jesus did. Do ministers have license from the state? No. Do dance instructors require license? No. Do personal trainers require license? No. Do strippers have licenses? No. Do yoga teachers have licenses? No. They have certifications. They have places where they sign up, but there's no licenses for testing people and these things. But okay, so here's the thing. All these people touch people all day, and there are no license requirements, and the government is okay with this. The issue comes from ignorant people who don't understand this, as I will address next. In lawful legal term, the First Amendment is your license to practice your religion. The government system agrees with you. You can do this as long as you never, ever, which I did mistakenly already said it by mistake, as you never, ever call it massage therapy or massage or therapy. So you can go get massages, but you're never giving massage. You're always doing laying on of hands. You might want to call it body work. I call it body work because it's very super neutral. And it's not scary. But you can do it however you want. Just don't call it massage. Don't call it therapy or massage therapy, because these are legally protected terms and only legally used by license holders. So that's the actual license you're getting when you go get a massage license. It's not your skill or your ability. I mean, they have a basic threshold, but you'll see by going to getting 10 massages, you'll see there's quite a very. You're just because you're licensed doesn't mean you're good. It just means that you've gone through the prerequisites to become in a trade union that allows you to use these words. Okay, and they're the only people who are allowed to use these words. Now, whether that's like actually legal, but this is how the law is. I'm not arguing with the law. Just become aware of it. Okay. Be sure to correct people if they assume that you're doing massage or therapy or massage therapy. Okay, you have to tell people, "I'm not doing that. I'm doing body work or laying on of hands or something. So I'm not doing that." And if they ask you more questions about what that means, you don't have to get into it. But just like, I'm not doing it. I prefer to call it this other thing. And if they get salty about it, we can get more into. I'll get into what happens if the people get salty about that. So what you're doing is you're ministering to your people, all the humans, by directly laying on of your hands. All right, that's what we're doing. And if you have that as your goal, is you're bringing healing and kindness and gentleness and a little break and direct human connection in a very pure way. That's just a kindness, doing a kindness, doing a what is it? What is it called? A bonus, a benefit, doing a nicety, right? Okay, so that's what you're doing. Okay, you may want to get liability insurance if you like, even without a license. I didn't find it necessary in my case because you're doing it. If you got sued for this for some reason, well, first of all, like, what do you do? Right? What are you doing? But if you're just cool, you're probably not going to need it. But if it concerns you, you have a house, a car, whatever, yeah, okay, get your. I think you already do. I think Ray already has liability insurance. It's easy to get. It's not a big deal. Given that you're working for donations and not a corporation, it's extremely unlikely you'll ever be sued. But I understand the need for this. If you own property, it's cheap anyway, and lets you check that box if it concerns you. Now, if you're going to rely on that to protect you, it's a fool's errand, right? You're running a fool's errand. Okay, and you should not be doing things to people that are unkind, that you wouldn't want to have done to you. Okay, if you don't want to have done to you, don't do it to other people ever. All right, that's all it is. That's pretty easy. Golden rule. It's the inverse. It's actually the inverse. You don't do to other people what you don't want to have happen to you. It's not the other way around. The other way around gets things people screwed up. But doing the negative way, that makes easy rules to follow. Okay. Troubles from licensed massage therapists. Okay, so the only people I ever had a problem with are a very tiny minority of individually licensed massage therapists. Most therapists don't care at all because they don't see you as competition, and they also understand there's far more work available than therapists could ever handle. Okay, massage and massage therapy are legally protected terms in most jurisdictions. Basically, it's a state-protected pseudo trade union to tax extraction racket. This means that you cannot ever use the word massage or massage therapy in conjunction with this work. Okay. I prefer the term bodywork as it's completely neutral and not protected by any legal dictate. You may want to pick another term, maybe laying on of hands laying, or something else. You can call it whatever you like. You can make up your own word if you want it. Just don't call it massage therapy. And if you ask about your license, you can assume they mean driver's license. And yes, you do have one. And when asked about where you learned about these techniques, what school you went to, you can tell the Nayada Institute, which is where I learned the bodywork techniques. And I recommend that you do as well. So there it is. Those are two. Most people are pretty. They're actually just curious. That's what they ask about. But some licensed massage therapists will assume the role of a police officer and feel it's their duty to persecute you because you are not playing by the rules that they volunteered into. They assume that to do the body work, to lay on hands, to be touching people, they have to get a license from the state like they did. Now they seem to be the only ones that have an issue with this, and everybody else doesn't care. And they don't have an issue with yoga instructors or strippers. They don't have an issue with them, but they'll come after you. They will. I can almost guarantee it because it's just how they are. Okay, because you're using a chair and they think it's imposing on their whatever. All right. Okay, so because you're not playing by the rules, which they volunteered into, and they erroneously assume, like most of them don't understand this, they assume that this applies to you, and it doesn't. So those massage therapist rules don't. Those massage therapist rules don't apply to you, but they never seem to understand that, and they really get really salty about it. If they continue to pry, asking technical questions about Latin names of muscle groups, etc., politely tell them you can set up a meeting later if they'd like to discuss it further, right? Okay, so if you need to move on to other customers, or you're holding the line, and I'd love to talk to you about this, but let's meet up later. How does this Saturday, 1 o'clock down at the coffee shop? How does this sound, etc. Go down, meet at the library, etc. And get them to agree to a meeting in person at some later date. Be sure to record the details of these interactions, all the details, who said who to what, who went, all that stuff, as they will become important later. Okay. Realize that they are trying to gather evidence on you to trap you, and will likely be causing problems later for organizers and events and owners of businesses if gone unchecked. Okay, if you do not check these people, they will go after you, and they will cause, and they won't, if they can't get to you directly, they'll go to business owners, right? Because this is how they operate. The government will not do anything to you because they know you're not breaking any laws. The First Amendment is your protection. Okay. And the government will not get involved. They'll just say, sorry, we don't investigate them because they don't have a license. So you have the license, not them. You don't have a license. They have a license. So yeah. Now, if you want to go get your license after all this, want to do the whole school thing, I mean, I'm sure you can, but I didn't find that was necessary, and I didn't. Eventually I figured out that I could do the solution, and I didn't have to worry about it anymore. In my case, I eventually had a lawyer friend drop a one-page cease and desist order to get one of these LMT people to stop spreading false rumors about me. This was crazy. It's important to know that these people are around and will cause problems if left unchecked. I can talk more about this in person if you want. You can contact me by email. We can set something up if you want to know more. But this is basically the thing you need to do. At that meeting, you give them a cease and desist order and let them know if they continue to persecute you, that you'll sue them for violating your First Amendment protected right to practice your religion, and you'll win due to the evidence already collected that they were interfering with you and recorded by you. Okay, there are many precedents for this in case law. If you want to get into it, you can. And I don't recommend that. But, just let them know if this is you're a loser on this thing. You're going after First Amendment. No, you need to stop. Be nice to them and tell them if you see any retaliation for this meeting, that you will indeed sue them and take their house and car and license and enjoy every second of it. Retaliation is considered continued persecution. Essentially, you want to let them know, you want them to shut up, take your name out of their mouths from now on, and you want to say the most direct and respectful way possible as you hold all the cards, because they are violating your rights, and the government does agree with you on this one. So don't get in arguments with them. Okay, simply calmly lay down the law in a private setting, and they only respect realistic threats of legal action that they know they'll 100% lose. Okay, tax implications. What did I do here? Oh yeah, I don't know what's going on here. So I need to fix. I'll format this in a second. Let's do it here. Oh, damn it. Okay. All right. I pasted this in from a website, so let me change the color here. All right, here. Okay. Tax implications for the tax year 2025, United States. You can give someone gift each person can gift you up to $19,000 without reporting to the IRS. Any gifts over this amount must be reported to the IRS for 709. So each person, if they give you more than $19,000 by donation, they have to then report it. However, the lifetime gift tax exclusion is 13.9 million. So over the course of their life, in your life, if they give you up to 13.9 million, meaning that any gifts that exceed this amount are subject to the gift tax. So just know that. So that's where your donations can come in, and it's going to be unlikely that anyone pays you more than $19,000 a year, any one individual person. So that's good. Good way to know you can get money and to do this as a as your religious right. Performing bodywork is a solution to your social problems. You can be the answer to an uncaring, cold, atomized world that's lost its human caring touch. Accessing the universal human via the back is a genuine spiritual experience for the giver and receiver. Okay, I don't want to get too flowery about this, but when you have someone's back, you can't tell who they are. You can't tell what age they are. It's hard. It's very difficult to tell which sex they are. You can probably tell after a while that you could maybe, but you're accessing the universal human. That's why. I don't know. I don't know if anybody told me this but I became aware that what I'm doing is putting my impact on the universal human condition by accessing this person's back, by accessing the vertebrae and the different parts of the back. Yes. Okay. So that's the thing. It's like and it's just like, I do I have to touch a guy? Yes. You might have to touch your brother on the back and maybe on the hand. Ooh. In public with people all around. So there's no hanky panky. And you should have the same type of loving, caring, gentleness, wanting to just let this other human being know I give a shit and I care while you're in my presence, and allowing that idea set. It opens up. I don't understand how this works, but it opens up something that allows this energy. I don't know the way to say it. I hate the word energy. It allows this to flow through your hands, from your like crown. This is how I experience through my into my hands, and then flowing out and then back up. I mean, that's how I it seems to feels like I could just feel this flowing, rushing. Anyway, you'll have to experience that on your own. As you're watching this far into the video, you're probably gonna try this. I hope you do. I hope you try it. Okay, so be aware the people you are working on are the ones giving you good reason to stay sober. Okay, that's the other thing. I just gotta remember, we're coming back to the reason is you're staying sober to deliver this thing, this work, this human only thing. Future steps. So traveling around to various festivals and public events with your chair, completely sober, doing this work will very likely change your view on humanity. You might have a different stance on all the stuff you've seen so far. I don't want to say much more about this. It's for you to discover. Yes. Okay. So this is like, I'm just putting it out like, hey. So So what is it? What has happened with me when I went out and did this? In this way, I'm already just setting up a chair and going to these events or doing stuff, and I was sober, and being super open and friendly and kind, and not expecting anything from anyone ever. I was just being thankful that I was sober and being around human beings who didn't want anything from me other than me to do this work with them. Okay? Okay, there's something about that. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I was just like, and it was, I completely 180 from like all the whole bar scene. Like eventually I went into the bar. I took my chair into bars. I was doing my work at bars like before everybody got wasted. Like in the early parts there, like at these events at these bars, and early in the evening, I would come up and set my chair up for a few hours and work in these places, sober, and realizing like a lot of people in this people, most like the people that drink in these bars are guys. Women come to these places, like sometimes drink, but a lot of them don't drink at all, or fake like they're drinking, or fake drunk, and you only know this by being sober. Okay, so like going around, I got invited to go do stuff, like invited to things I didn't. These are strangers. They didn't know me. I could have been a serial killer. I don't know, but they experienced my work. They saw like to check my vibe. I was there. I was just grateful to be doing this work and reconnecting with humanity in this very visceral, real way that was not no language involved, no talkie, just. Remember, you're doing this to quit drinking and remove your loneliness in our world. Okay? Just you and your chair and the sea of human backs. After you master the Thai chair bodywork, the style, you should consider moving into Thai mat bodywork, which the chair stuff is derivative of, and or acro yoga. It depends on which way you want to go. Whether you want to do more, whether you want to like do more athletical stuff and be more acrobatical, athletical that way, or more healing art, gua sha, Chinese medicine, fixing people's bodies and injuries and old things and helping them out that way. Meditation, contemplating the universe, which is the whole purpose of these things. Thai massage, the whole purpose is to give the giver and receiver preparation for deep, deep meditation, the contemplation of God, the universe, ourselves in it, and our what we're here for, and what we want to do, and all things asunder. And always remember, stay humble. You might have a problem with this, Ray. You got to stay humble with this stuff, man. People are going to be blown away. Once you get skilled up, people are going to be impressed, right? And you have to stay humble because, again, this is a gift that was given to me, and I'm been told to give to other people this path, this way of doing things, because people are suffering so harshly, and they're all stuck in like, a 6-pack ass. You better get a big muscle car. Like, no, dude, no. Everybody does like the reason why that girl called it a douche car is because every guy that has the same problem you have does the same damn thing, and they're all doing like, look at my car. Say, oh, okay, you have a car. Now what? So the now what is this stuff. Being real, being present, being a freaking hero, a decent human being, not a creep. Give me money, give me sex. It's like, stop being like that. Stop being so grabby. Give, without intention of anything happening at all. In fact, be like this, like, oh shit, when something does happen, be like, what? I didn't expect that. It's like, be real, be humble, be there to serve and stay sober and connect and bring this kindness, gentleness, reconnectedness, wholesomeness back. Like in the time massage stuff, it's all like, I know you hear about time. Oh, sex drive. It's like, no, dude. There's this other thing going on over there. It's everything's all in time massage. Everyone's in a room together, all open. Everyone can see everybody, all clothes on, doing all this crazy stuff, and it feels amazing. And you're done with it. Your body is like humming, just ready to like, yeah. You have to experience it, I guess. All right, here's the last thing I want to say about this stuff. Sexual integrity aspects. Always have the most integrity in your work. This is a holy mission from God and must be respected with dire circumstances, dire consequences, if you not followed with complete integrity. All right? You've been warned, man. I'm telling you, don't fuck with this stuff. Do not mess with it. Don't think you're being funny with it. You have to be wholesome, like it's a child, like you're working with children. When somebody's on your chair, it's like a child. You just give them, as it's been beat up, and beat up kid. You want to take sexual advantage of? Like, you sick fucking pervert. Don't do that. Don't fucking do that. And if you do that, you're just gonna get punished. So we're trying to warn you. Don't fucking do that, because you will be fucking severely destroyed. I know, I've seen it. I've seen people screw this one up, man. It's not good. All right, okay, I have to keep repeating myself. Never mix sex and your work. Always keep these separate. The Bible advises caution laying on hands, and it seems something right to do, which rewards laying his hands suddenly on people, as it can lead to partaking in other people's sins. That's one of the things it does. That also gets, dude. You do not. I don't have to go into it. You don't want to be cool. All right, be kind. Be fatherly, like gentle father. And this caution is emphasized to ensure that the act is done in accordance with God's will. Exactly. You're trying to be a conduit for God's will to help out these people who are in pain. Okay? You have to see that as a sacred thing, okay? And if you don't, you will get fucked up. When transitioning from a client patron to an intimate relationship, you have to intentionally call it out verbally that this is what's happening, plainly, and prefer repeatedly, at least 3 times. Like, say, hey, I know we're vibing each other, whatever, but I have to tell you, this is changing the nature of the relationship, and these things have to be separate. They have to be separate. It's important to me and to the universe that I be very clear and conscious and very direct and succinct and the clear delineation between these things, okay? It's going to happen. Not happen at first. May not happen for a while, but eventually it's going to happen. So you have to be cool with this stuff, and you have to be very clear about it. No gray, okay? Do not do that. Even though you feel like you want to, do not. You have to explain you're changing the nature of the relationship, and she'll no longer be a patron or client, but something else. This must be done intentionally. They must understand and consciously agree with verbally, consciously. We don't want to be in writing. Fuck. That this is happening, and they must verbally agree they are wanting to do this. Minimal verbally. Not just this. Verbally, yes. And then make it kind of being like annoying. Like, no, but you understand. I'm changing this. We're changing the station. This is changed to a different thing. And then be like, oh, yes, I understand. We're changing. Like, no. You understand? We're changing the station. Like, one of my best friends, when he wants to get something through my thick skull, he will literally tell me 3 times, even though every time I'm like, I got it. He's like, no. Right. All right. So, and usually at this point, if there's been no misunderstandings, you've got green lights, it's all good, right? Then everyone's on the clear. Never assume they're just giving you signals. Your act of calling it out after you feel the signals, being mature, being the bigger person, will keep you integrated and will keep God's protection while you do this work, okay? You'll be protected if you stay in integrity. I mean, there's always shit that happens, right? But if you're integrated and you stay in integrity, pristine integrity here. So it also absolves them later, coming out and accusing you of anything toward, because you verbally expressed it plainly and visibly and clearly and left no room for confusion. So you're trying to stave that stuff off, okay? Because once women, and men too, but like once women in particular know you have this skill, they're going to want you to work on them, and you're going to be like, hey, I don't mind working on you, but you got to work on me too. It's got to be like the give and take thing. So that's usually, and then, so by learning this skill and going through this thing, you will meet people, and then you'll do the trades, and you learn how to teach each other, and then eventually you start teaching people, and this is how you can break your black-pilled freaking I hate humanity thing and rejoin the human race. Rejoin the human race and be a conduit for God's healing energy. I don't freaking know what it is called. I don't know what to call it. I just know it's real. I've experienced it. It's a thing. I don't know how supposed to say it. I don't like to use the word energy, but that definitely feels like there's like some. I don't know what you have to. I'm just giving you. I've opened the door. I've let you see behind the secrets because you've watched this far about how this stuff works and how it'll revamp and it'll change your social outlook and environment and I hope you look into it more. And if you want to email me questions, you can email me questions or add questions in the comment box. I'll do my best to answer them. And give me a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you as soon as possible.